You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 409 of East Central's favorite podcast, normally on Thursdays, but today we're on Wednesday because we're trying to avoid Republicans and their scheduling conflict. Just kidding, but I'm in a room full of them. This is East Central's favorite podcast.
You're welcome.
Jeremiah Morrell here, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, coach to the All-Stars, Mr. Zach Burcham.
Good evening.
We have a returning co-host dressed all in blue today, doing her best, Caitlin
Go
Ursay.
Colts. That's right.
Former council person, Betsy Mills.
And recently, as of Sunday, reelected the 6th District Young Republican Chair.
Ooh. You're not running for state central committee yet?
No. Maybe later.
Never know.
Hey, I just turned 40. I've got, as a Republican, I'm practically an infant. So
You're a baby Republican still.
Would I be allowed to run for a young anything or...
I think the cutoff is 41 or 42. So no, but you could come party with the YRs.
Okay.
And
Okay.
And then returning, we have Sheriff John Sproles is here, our featured guest. He's almost earned co-host status. You've been here a number of times now. We're like the 4th or 5th time, right?
Yes, I think so.
Somewhere
does he
there.
need the jacket?
Yeah, you've invented this jacket in your mind. This is not Saturday Night Live. We don't have their budget.
It's a great idea.
Or Washington's dream.
I'm just gonna come with my own.
Go down to Goodwill, and then get a bedazzler and see what you come up with.
I might do that.
Just wear it, but you're gonna have to keep changing it because every time you come back on the show, your number gets higher and higher and higher.
I gotta think this.
You can work through it.
I gotta think through this.
Today's show, we're gonna be sitting down with the sheriff and getting an update on the department. Some
We're
things they've
actually
been working on.
already sitting down, Jeremiah.
Well, it's theater of the mind. This is a podcast.
Yes, okay.
Sheriff's got dad jokes tonight. I like it. I say keep it rolling.
Endless time today. We said we've got until the merit board meeting tomorrow night, so he is in no rush.
This is marathon session tonight.
We're gonna have breaks built in. I haven't even got through the read yet, so that's the plan. We're gonna talk to the sheriff, see what's going on, get some updates, and see where it goes. We're conversational by nature, so there are no promises. The show's about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times to make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. We just did a 25 minute Patreon bonus edition for the folks that pay the bills and make this show happen. If you want access to that and be a part of that side of it, bosshogliberty.com, click on the Patreon button or patreon.com/bosshogliberty, and you can sign up at any value. If you are at $50 or more a month, though, at the top of the episode, we mentioned your business, and what you're into. Those folks at this time are John Phillips over at Wetzel Ford in Richmond. If you need a new vehicle, a used vehicle, John and his team will hook you up. Blake Reese at Varsity Outfitters here in Newcastle, right there on Memorial Drive. They do custom logo apparel, school apparel, jackets, anything you need. If you want that custom jacket you're looking for, Betsy,
yeah,
they can hook you up.
Excellent.
Got to say thanks to Tommy Oakes over at Walnut Ridge RV. He was on here a couple weeks ago. Very, very good supporter of ours. I know he's got the big RV show coming up this weekend at the State Fairgrounds. And Morrell Monument Cleaning in Rush County. You've got a loved one that's passed on. They've got a monument. You want to get it cleaned up for the fall. Give Joyce Morrell a call. Find her on Facebook, and she'll get you taken care of. And Pops Recycle down in Rush County as well. The vintage Schwinn bicycle repair and storefront in Rushville as well. All that's out of the way. Welcome back, Sheriff.
It's good to be back.
We're sitting.
Yes.
We're having a good time. Wanted to hear a couple of things, but you're midpoint of your term now, of your first term as sheriff, and you've had a chance to really see what's going on, build the department in the way that you've envisioned. You've been through a couple budget cycles. So I thought it was a really good opportunity to kind of share with the general public how things have been going.
Yeah.
So wanted to start on the side that I'm most familiar with, and that is the merit officer side. So the folks that are public facing, the road side. You're fully staffed on that end.
Correct.
Just had a retirement.
Correct.
So the process is you had a retirement, but you had a list, so you're already back to full staff again.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes. We are fully staffed, and we as you let me explain something real quick. You said merit deputies.
Yep.
A lot of people do not even know what that means, but merit deputies are full-time deputies. They are hired based on their merit. So, we had a retirement. Our dear beloved Captain Nate Kovacs.
Great guy. He decided it was time to, I think his wife had a long list of things that he needed to work on. And so he retired. And yes, we had somebody in line to fill that spot, and we continue to stay fully staffed there.
So he was leading the road division, correct?
Yes, he was the patrol division captain, and 27 years. And let me just say this about Nate, Captain Nate, one of the greatest guys, just his personality. Captain Nate is a tough dude. You can look at him and see that. And if anybody had the brass and the brawn to be arrogant and be a punk, Captain Nate did. And he just was a humble servant. Now, he did get riled up one time. And it's on body camera, and it's phenomenal. I'm not sure what all we're allowed to say on this show. I didn't get the rules, but
if it's too much, we'll tell Zach that
I don't usually use these words, but it's not really bad.
Okay.
In my church, I would get probably thrown out. But story was somebody had just moved in the neighborhood, was causing some trouble in a certain neighborhood around here, and they fired off some rifle rounds in the area near houses. And so when we arrived, it was me and Captain Nate showed up, and one of the suspects, we'll just call him, thought it was a good idea to just jump in the shower. And so we're talking to several other individuals in the living room, and other dude is now getting a shower.
So can't get arrested in the shower. That's state law.
That's Indiana code, right?
Thought.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're protected.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Like home base.
Nobody wants to grab a wet naked guy.
But
I was gonna say they've seen all the videos of people getting
yes,
the cop apprehensively trying to arrest naked guy because he doesn't want to touch naked guy.
Well, so the funny part about it was Captain Nate had enough, and the guy had been told to get out of the shower, and so the dude didn't lock the door though. I don't get that. I mean, I want to lock the door anyway. Yeah, exactly. But Captain Nate, and it's just great. My body cam video, and Captain Nate opens the door and said, "Put down the soap, turn off the shower, and get out right now, or I'm going to drag your naked ass out in front of everybody." But I will say this: I was the one that ended up dragging him out.
Did you put a towel on, or you still did it?
No, we just rolled with it. So there comes a time where you need to make sure you can see what you're dealing with.
It's time to move on.
Yes, correct. And of course, we were paying attention to the hands.
Yeah.
And it was funny though. But Captain Nate was just a great guy. Just an absolute goal career.
Big shoes to fill.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So have some more departmental announcements to come along.
Yes.
And that leads us very nicely into some of the changes that were made, I think, in the last budget cycle with the council, that you have a new hierarchy. So you have stripes or rankings in the organization.
Yeah.
And when you have a retirement, then that means you've got to move people around again.
Correct. Yes. So we added, like you said, the previous session. So a year ago, we added a corporal level. So for those who don't understand the brass structure, a corporal is just below a sergeant. We never had that rank.
So it's the first rank that exists other than just a
That is correct.
A patrolman.
That is correct. And then we also added a lieutenant structure that had not previously been done. And so, yes. So when you have somebody, top brass like that, there is a lot of movement that takes place.
So the reason this was put into place was that you now have leadership in place, so that everybody knows when they're on shift.
Yes,
who's running a shift is this.
Everybody knows who's on first.
Yeah, somebody's in charge at that point.
Yes, correct.
So, and for those that are uninitiated, our department has more than 20 folks that work full time.
28. On the patrol side, yeah.
But they are obviously in different shifts, so they work different days.
Correct.
And you've got coverage throughout evenings and mornings.
Correct.
So you end up with 4 different buckets of people.
That's correct. We obviously have coverage 24/7, 365. We do 12-hour shifts, and so our schedules are a 2-week rotating schedule. We have 2 brackets of day shift, as you were speaking of 4 buckets, you said. So we'll go with buckets. We have 2 buckets of day shift and 2 buckets of night shift, and they rotate, and it keeps you staffed.
I'm sure they love being referred to as bucket people, but
I like it. I like it though. It's new and that
business terms for you.
Yes. And that may continue on. Which bucket's working
what
today?
Bucket are we in? Yeah. Green bucket or red bucket?
Yes.
As long as the bucket's not full of anything you don't want to deal with, then it's fine, right?
That's right.
You had stressed that the department was very, very young before. I guess you're continuing to get some experience.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what it's been like to watch that growth and change over the last couple of years.
Well, the good news is when I said that everybody was young, everybody is now older than that. I don't know what has happened today, but I'm in a funny mood, and I apologize.
But everyone you talked about a couple of years ago, they're obviously more experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have just like Captain Nate, 27 years. We've got just some great guys that have been on for 25, 26, 27 years. Some 10, 11, 12s, and then we go down to young. But you have to start. You can't start old and work backwards. So we've got some new guys, and they're great guys. They have a lot of energy, and they're the type of guys that will run and chase somebody. The other day, for the first time on a foot pursuit, I hate to admit this, but I wanted to cover the perimeter, but the city was chasing somebody, and dude ran right out in front of me in front of Speedway at 18th and Broad. So I bail out of my car, and he just bolts.
You're a working sheriff. You're not just an administrative sheriff, is what you're telling us?
That is correct. That is correct. But my first response was this, and then I just went to the radio. I said, he's running eastbound. I'm going to go cover the
let
south.
Somebody younger
Yes.
go.
Yes. And the funny thing was, I said, I'm going to go cover the south perimeter. I'm calling it out where he's going. So I go around to the south road where I've got a good view. I get out of my car, and I'm standing there in the house, and dude runs right. He literally ran right into me. I said, oh, okay. So it worked out good. But the younger guys, they would have bolted and started jumping over fences. And so it is good to have that energy, because sometimes you do need to.
I think you just answered the question Betsy had about young Republicans. When you reach for the radio and not just going and running, I think that was the limit right there.
You're older.
That was when that's when you know
Yes.
that you've transitioned
Yes.
to the other side.
You're the elder statesman now.
Yes, I am. I might be the oldest. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Captain Matt's not. Yeah, he's not old as I am.
He's
on the merit
I think he's
side.
between 40 and 50.
Yeah,
I would say. If I had
so I might be the oldest.
The other side, and this has been something I know you put Captain Matt on the tip of the spear for.
Yes.
Departmental equipment. He's been the face talking to the commissioners and the council, trying to get some things done.
Yes.
And that's been a public side of the conversation on the administrative side when you're not chasing after guys.
Yes.
Tell us about how things sit on the equipment side. I know we've talked about gym equipment in here. We've talked about vehicles,
Mhm.
and I think maybe some other safety and extra items as
Yes.
well.
We are setting beautifully. And I want to pause there to, I don't know, say congratulations to our kudos to the council who had, this may surprise you, but I have not always agreed with council decisions, especially if they were not what I was asking for.
I'm appalled to hear that.
This is shot.
No,
It shocks
no.
you, doesn't it, Betsy?
Oh, now John
I've seen
remembers
you
where he
lean on
remembers
the
Betsy
council.
from.
Yes. Oh, you're that council. No, but one thing that the council has,
I don't know. Anytime you asked her to do it, she raised taxes on me. So I don't know what your complaint could have possibly
hated
been.
it the entire
I will say
time.
this, that the council has been wise, and they have navigated well, and we are getting, so this is so wonderful and beautiful. I love it. The council approved the budget, and countywide, and I love this. I've been criticized. Oh, you only care about you. No, I care about everybody. And countywide, they are going to be paying the county employees 100% of midpoint average with like counties and entities like ours. I do have to say this though. That is 1 year previous. They're going off of the previous year's average. So I am happy with where we're at. I'm very happy with it. So
the expectation is that when this budget gets passed, that your department is going to get the midpoint of what things were in 2024. So maybe a
the
year
midpoint
behind
of what they were in what they are in 2025, because we're going into 2026.
Yeah.
So they're taking the known averages that people have in 2025 right now, and we'll get paid the midpoint per job description. And so that is great, and I am happy for all county employees, because that it affects them, and I'm happy for them.
And this was, I mean, this has been a multi-year process, and
Yes.
I'm not on the council now, but I had been for the past 5 years. Everybody knows Henry County is not the richest county in Indiana, and everything going on with the economy, with COVID, we were in a really, really bad operating space, and we've got our financial advisors telling us, hey, you need to have this much in reserve. This is a conservative but pragmatic approach. And then you've got, our sheriff's department saying, hey, we need things. Like we actually need things, or we're losing all these employees to other departments because we can't pay them. We train them up and then they walk out the door. And obviously nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Our employee retention is phenomenal right now. And, talking about building up reserves, the county has continued to build reserves, and even through the difficult times. And I want to specifically say this because I appreciate this from multiple council members. Now, the comment of we do not want to just continually stack up reserves in lieu of, reaching out and bringing the employees countywide up to scale. So,
well, yeah. And once you hit I think Baker Tilly would say, like 20% is 20% in reserve. I think that's correct.
So you're saying that if you have a $1 million annual budget, you want to have $200,000 in
I'm saying
cash
that
savings?
that's. I think that
Betsy,
was.
you're the council.
I'm not anymore. I'm a civilian, but no, I believe that was what it was, and I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. But
we've got Shannon Tom and Chad Malakote coming on in October. So
okay, all right. They will obviously
handle
know.
the cleanup, no problem.
They are so. I would just let me say something about those guys. They are numbers guys. They know their numbers. Shannon, obviously, I work with more because he is our liaison. And it's another thing I have appreciated is the regular contact, face-to-face meetings where we sit down and discuss these things. And Shannon's on top of his game.
Shannon's excellent. He's such a good
teammate. And he didn't even pay me to say that.
No. Well, he was a delight to work with. I was excited when he was, he was going to run, and Chad's a really good friend. And those are both very, very smart guys who are very invested in the community. And
Very
it's
much,
not
yes.
it's not a factor of, oh, we don't want to do this for you. It's,
Right.
oh my gosh, we got to find this. We
Right,
got to
right,
do it
right.
really intelligently. We barely have 2 nickels to rub together, but whatever we do with it, we want to do it
Right.
well, efficiently and effectively.
They've been great, and so yes, I'm very thankful for where we are at.
So the other big ticket item that I wanted to talk about tonight, and this is probably where I want to spend the majority of our conversation, is that over the life of the show, we've discussed, hey, we need a jail, to, hey, Betsy's raising my taxes so that they can build a new jail.
Yes.
So we built a new facility, and then almost immediately we heard from folks on the law enforcement side and the criminal justice side, hey, this thing's full. We need to add on to it.
Right.
And that was right as we were coming out of COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and you had just taken office,
Mm-hmm.
and we started to have this conversation on the show, and we spoke with the prosecutor's office, we spoke with judges, we spoke with you, and we spoke with folks on the county government, the elected council and commissioner side, saying where's the issue and how is this supposed to work, because it felt like we were just building a bigger filing cabinet for people.
Right.
And I wanted to talk about today that population has reduced significantly, and
yes.
explore how that's happened,
Yes.
so that maybe some folks outside of this area can understand what's happened. Because if you look across the state, we weren't the only community that built a new criminal justice facility.
Correct. I will tell you this. So yes, those conversations of, hey, we're going to need to build a mega $1 million addition on this jail was when I was first coming in as the sheriff. And I remember thinking that there is an issue here. And I'll tell you when I realized that quickly. As soon as I came into office, I had our jail brass pull me all of the data from all 92 counties. There's only 91 counties with jails.
One county shares, or 2 counties share one, right?
Yeah, yes,
like
that's correct. Yes,
that
is correct. So I wanted to see what is the actual data of how many people we incarcerate per our county population. And so when we looked at all of those numbers, we were literally almost right at the top, incarcerating more people per capita than any other counties.
Wow.
So I couldn't understand that. I mean, we're not, we have our
we're not Connorsville, for God's sake, right?
Yeah. But I couldn't understand, like, why is this happening? So we really dug into trying to figure out, and it was an interesting search of trying to figure out what is going on here. Why are there more people? We are not high crime. We have our own crime. We have crazy. Henry County's crazy, okay, and we have some crazy stuff, but we're not, like you said, we're not downtown Indianapolis.
We're not Porter County, right?
That's
we're not
correct.
Lake County.
Yes.
We're not the region.
That is correct.
50,000 people live here.
So
it should be under control.
What we have found is that has been a solution, and we have watched the numbers, our jail population numbers drop dramatically, is simply communication with defense attorneys, prosecutor's office, just having those conversations of, if the defense attorneys, I've walked in the jail before and I've had people say, hey, I've tried 10 times to get a hold of my defense attorney. I can't get a hold of them. So we had some conversations with the defense attorneys and said, hey, what can we do to help facilitate you all coming in? And there were some things that we needed to work out in order to help them. We put a process in place for them letting our jail staff know who they needed to see and when. And so just communication, making sure there's no cogs in the wheel. Is that
the whole system was working, right?
That it's flowing smoothly.
What my sense is that, at the basis, we're all constitutionally guaranteed a right to a speedy trial, right?
Yes.
Which means that you shouldn't be stagnant and stuck on the I haven't had a trial side of this phase yet.
Yes,
right?
correct.
If you want to get through something, then that should be progressing.
Right. So we've had that conversation quite a bit of where is that line drawn?
to we're not getting this done in time.
'Cause you would talk to people and they would say, hey, I've been in here for over 30 days, over 60 days without having any process.
Much longer than that in multiple cases. And the unfortunate thing that, and I don't want to get into the discussion of bond amounts that's set by the judges, but and that is not necessarily the issue. But what I don't like, and I've seen it, where we've got somebody in jail that has let's say a $350 bond. They don't have family who will support them. They don't have anybody to go pay that. And they're sitting in there for a one very minor charge that, I think we could process it through quicker. And so, those are the things that we've leaned into is, let's keep this process, the judicial process moving, and not be housing these people for longer than we should. And it has started to, and another thing that I want to say, a lot of people, their first reaction be, are you just putting them back out on the street? Why are they moving out quicker? The process is being the wheel has been greased, so to speak. Lots of communication, and so no, we're not just turning people out just to
a lot of
population
folks
down.
Don't get sentenced to jail time.
Correct,
right? I mean, you have to elevate to a certain level of a crime to actually be expected to serve time in the jail. So yes. I don't know what the percentage is, but my sense once again is more than half of the folks that are there are not carrying out a sentence. They're on the short side of.
I would have to look at today's numbers again to look at that specific category. I look at the daily numbers regularly, but there's a million different categories. I'm going to guess there are, out of running 165 to 180 inmates, there's 20 that are sentenced. That may shock you.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. So it's like a quarter of the people at most that are sentenced and doing time. The rest of them are all trying to get through the process. And I don't think that you think of the jail and you think people are sitting in there because they're convicted of something. They're all waiting. You're waiting on your
the quicker
trial,
that moves, the better
to go.
That doesn't benefit anybody. I mean,
correct. And that's the side of the conversation I wanted to have is that there's a cost to every day somebody sits in a jail. The county has a financial cost,
there's
right?
18 currently
18 are sentenced that belong in Henry County that shouldn't be at the state.
That's correct.
Right?
Out of how many currently?
160.
Yeah, no, we've bumped up a little bit. So these numbers can vary. I put an article out in the paper. I don't know, was it a month ago? Just really covering all of these jail details and looking at the significant drop in the averages. And I think the first half of this year, we were averaging 166. There are different days that can really bump. There is a certain court that only happens once a month. And a lot of times there may be 10 to 15 transported right to the jail for like a 2 or 3 day stint. So, when you see those numbers,
you might have
take a big
blip.
jump. Yeah. We've been bust them over in the van for a couple of days. So again, the first half of the year average was, I believe, 166. And there was a point to where right after I first came in, where when the numbers were just continuing to climb, we had 251, I believe, in there one day.
Oh wow!
And we were running 230s regularly, and so it has crept down, and that is wonderful for everybody involved.
And it means you're constitutional and you're not too full.
Yes.
Sorry to ask the numbers. I'm just curious where things are. How much does it cost a day to incarcerate somebody in our jail?
A daily number, I don't have that right in front of me. What we estimate, and there are so many different estimates, different
there's
counties.
Costs.
Yeah,
right. It's like you're hiring more staff necessarily, but you got variable costs of healthcare, food,
right,
etc.
We figure north of $20,000 per year.
Okay.
What was DOC paying $35 a day? So you're going to be in that. Well, you show me some ICE numbers that were What were those numbers?
We'll get to it.
Okay,
but yeah, Clay County is getting $85 a day from ICE.
So
that's a premium package.
Yes. So
that's
here's
like the gold.
Here's the thing I think a lot of people do not think about. Very basic. This is a very basic thing. Let's just say, okay, per inmate, we serve them 3 meals a day. Okay. That is a correctional officer's staff taking a tray to the inmate. When they're done eating, taking that tray back. That's for breakfast. You have the same thing for lunch. You have the same thing for dinner. You're handling a tray 6 times for one inmate every day. So run those numbers, 6 times 200.
Yep.
You're handling 1,200 trays a day, not to count passing out medications.
I was going to say, some of them are on blood pressure medicine, right? They're on anxiety meds, they're on whatever.
Multiple times a day, handing out, the bulk of them are on medications. So, handing out medications multiple times a day. We're paying for their dental care. We're paying for medications. Just your medical insurance. 700-ish thousand a year just for the medical insurance side.
For the inmates.
Yes. So, yes, there is a big cost. And I've just been in favor of, and again, we don't sacrifice the judicial process on just push them out. But let's do everything we can to get these people back into the working society. I don't want to handle trays 6 times a day for somebody and pay their dental and pay all the. It's amazing how the money stacks up. So let's try to rehabilitate. Sometimes I don't like that word, but let's try to facilitate the rehabilitation and get these people back into the working society.
Well, I want to talk about that because I know that this jail was years in the making and all of it. And we're so glad we have it. And I think we're also glad we built it when we did, because construction costs now would be, I don't even want to estimate.
It would be crazy.
Millions and millions more.
Yes.
So the timing was good, although I think the timing could have been 15 years earlier, but that's another discussion. But at least my colleagues and I were very interested in JCAP, which that would be Jail Chemical Addiction Program.
Yes.
So that's designed to reduce recidivism, because a lot of our incarcerated folks are struggling with addiction. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. And we have seen we've seen some great things out of the JCAP program. That is in a different. It's not in general population. A different side. You obviously know that from. It's a program that obviously to help recover from addictions, to try to deal with your trauma. And I'll tell you, I have been, heartbroken, I guess is one word, hearing the stories of the trauma that some of these people have experienced. And you're like, no wonder you're trying to get away from the trauma. So, but I remember reviewing one of the guys' handbooks, and there is a lot of book work that you have to do. And I've told them in JCAP, guys, listen, be proud of yourself because you are accomplishing a lot. You hand me that workbook, I just don't like to see a workbook like that. I didn't graduate cum laude. I graduated thank the laude. And so these people, I say, hey, you're doing great things just getting through these workbooks.
They're putting effort in.
They're putting huge effort in.
So the JCAP program, is that available to anybody, or are there incentives or things that you have to do to say, hey, because there's only so many slots.
Right. Correct.
How does somebody get into that program?
They apply for the program, and then there is.
So they have to choose it.
Yes, that's correct. And there is an assessment that is done to see if they qualify. And there's a lot of different qualifiers or dequalifiers, if that's a word. But yes, they have to want to be in it, and they have to. We have to analyze through that process of, are they just wanting to get out of general population and go over there? Do they really have an addiction problem? And so there are a lot of qualifiers here, but it has been a good program. And overall, I am absolutely thrilled with there is a different culture there now. We talk about culture a lot. I think I mentioned this statement in the newspaper, but I love it. It's an old statement that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Strategy's great. We've got to strategize. We've got a plan. But the bottom line is the culture is everything. And we have, I'll just put it kindly, there has been in the past a difficult culture in the employees, in just the whole, you walk in the place and you can tell the culture is different.
There's been a focus on basic humanity, right? And
Yeah.
I think I've sensed some empathy coming from the sheriff's department, and I think it's some of the public statements of, hey, you are taking care of folks. They're in your custody, and there's a stewardship to that.
Absolutely.
That I don't know that we have always seen.
Absolutely. I've had people, especially right after I took office, ask me, what is the biggest weight that you have felt since you became the sheriff? And I'll never forget, January 1st landed on a Sunday. We had 40 some church leader representatives from probably 14 different churches in the county, all gather to pray through the jail. And we have done that regularly to have, we just call it pray through the jail. That was great. That wasn't my point I was going to. I wanted to throw that in, but I remember January 1st on a Sunday, I was leaving that evening, leaving the jail, and I had heard a lady in one of the side pod areas where you keep people that you really need to keep an eye on for their own good, not because they're troublemakers. But I remember a lady just in there screaming nonstop, and so I went in there and said, "Ma'am, how can I help you?" And we talked for a while. And when I walked out that night, I will never forget this weight on my shoulder of, there are 200 and some people in there that's in your care now. What happens in there is on you. And that's a heavy burden. So, yes, we promote caring for. I was shocked. I put a post up a long time ago about caring for inmates. Shocked at some of the comments. They don't deserve to be treated like humans. That comment came directly from a family member of one of the former top brass of the jail. I'm just shocked. They don't deserve to be treated like humans.
Well, we do have a constitution, so
yeah. And I tell our COs, correction officers, that you don't have to remind them of why they're there. They know why they're here.
There's only 18 of them that have been convicted of anything. Everybody else is innocent.
This is correct, Jeremiah. And don't berate the inmates. One thing that I said while I was campaigning, the F word on duty is gone. I'm just not dealing with that. It is not professional. And we had a few people, and I want to be very kind. There was a few people that have been there a really long time that thought I wasn't serious about that. And a corrections officer is a civilian that don't go through you, the merit board. I can say, no, you're gone. And so, I told all of the staff right off the bat, you need to understand my leadership style. I will probably never yell at you, never raise my voice at you. I've been there 2 years and 9 months and so many days. I have never raised my voice at any employee or any employee in that building. I've never heard another employee raising their voice. That's probably happened. It usually don't happen in front of me. But
is your hearing going bad?
Is it? No, I'm not talking about the merit board people yelling.
Right. Yeah, we just pick on them.
Yes, correct.
So with it sounds like you're saying that as you've come in, your leadership, you've tried to change the culture.
Culture of care. So what I was saying is, look, we're not going to be using the F-bomb. We are not going to be berating inmates. And our new mission statement is a scripture verse right out of the Bible. Do justice, love mercy, and be humble. The actual quote from the King James is what is required of you, but to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly before your God. So we just narrowed it down. Do justice, love mercy, be humble. Those things have to be done equally. That not doing justice, cutting breaks when these are the rules. We regained control of the jail as well.
It sure sounds like it.
Yes.
And I would have to think that if you're dealing with people in your care, the more, you show them respect as a fellow human being, they're probably going to be a lot more compliant. Does that help?
It's not even probably. It is. If you treat them with respect, hey, look, sometimes things have to be done. They're not always pretty. They have to be done. But if you treat them with respect, I'm saying 98.9% of the people will treat you with respect right back. You've got a few percentage of people that you will never figure out, and you will never be able to predict them.
And they might not be in the most stable mental state. Right?
That is correct.
You get folks that aren't completely sorted.
That is correct. And another topic of another day is just the mental health care. And I hate it when I realize we've got somebody in our jail that their biggest issue is
between their ears. It's not.
It is. Yes.
It's not a criminal problem. It's
and in many cases, I've said, you know what, we are doing them a disservice because most of the time those people can't survive in general population. They have to go to an isolated cell. I'm not talking about the padded cell, but cells that have just 2 bunks in them. And if you were to go in one and shut the door, you're going to lose it in just a short amount of time. And so we try to focus on, let's get those people to where they need to be to get help. We are not, even though we have mental health professionals on staff 5 days a week there, that's not what the jail's for.
Right.
So you've referenced faith a number of times in this.
Yes.
And I know, that's the culture you come from. Mm-hmm. But there's also a competing argument of, hey, this is a government organization. Mm-hmm. You notably had baptisms and other services mm-hmm. available. How does that get balanced, and what are the boundaries of how are you supposed to color within the rules or the lines of what's okay?
One thing that I tell our chaplains regularly, and we have got quite a few chaplains that are working in that jail regularly. We cannot and will not, I wouldn't do it, our chaplains wouldn't do it, but force anything on anybody. Baptisms are if you would like to be baptized. Hey, I have went and gotten a Quran for somebody before. I need a Quran. Let's get it. And so we will not, what is the word that I'm using? We will not discriminate.
Yeah. So any religion, obviously they're predominantly Christian organizations and folks that are in this community. But if somebody says, "Hey, I'm Jewish. I'm agnostic."
We deal with that with their diets. We deal with that with their diets. We have to serve different food to different people for their religious beliefs, and so I wouldn't discriminate against anybody. And so, I've taken heat on allowing people to be baptized. I've had Freedom from Religion organizations send me letters. We have 600 attorneys across the state of Indiana. And we are going to see that this gets shut down. And, then you get another letter. We're going to see this get shut down. And so I'm going to treat people right. I want to see them taken care of spiritually, mentally, physically, and I'm not going to discriminate, but I am going to, as long as I'm the sheriff, I feel like I know that the true answer to so many of these issues is a heart transformation, not just simply rule-based conformation. I don't think confirmation is a word. I looked it up the other day, but it you know what I mean?
Compliance.
If you're going to recover from deep addiction, I appreciate the programs. We need programs, but if you don't have a true heart transformation, and you're treading an uphill battle there.
Well, I agree with all the sentiment you just shared, but just from a taxpayer viewpoint, like, I feel like the more somebody is invested in their religion, it's more likely they're going to the recidivism is going to go down. People reoffending if they have purpose in their lives and they have direction that they may not have had before.
Right.
They're probably going to do better.
Yeah.
So selfishly, as a taxpayer, I think those things are good as long as there's a balance. It's available. If you're hooking everybody up with their religion,
whatever
you're giving resources, and then they get to choose. That makes sense to me. But
yes. And you're exactly right. It does help with the crime level. Actually, if you just go to the 10 Commandments, I think if you would cover all of those, crime would be at maybe 0. I need to go back and look at the 10 Commandments.
We'd probably be a little bit better.
It doesn't cover texting and driving. I've checked. There's nothing.
It doesn't.
There's nothing in there about it.
And I've been really interested in and you guys might be familiar with this term, but it's called deaths of despair. People and people our age, I mean, like young, like millennials, are dying at a really much faster rate than generations before us, and also compared to millennials in other countries.
Yes.
And this interests me selfishly. I've also seen way too many people my age die, and friends from college, friends from high school, people from this community, and it's shocking. But a lot of those deaths of despair go back to addiction. They go back to mental health. Obviously, the same things that going on in the jail. And for me, it's I think just recent events. I mean, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's young people without meaning, without purpose, like having no purpose.
We have wandered so far from truth. Everybody's got their own truth. I don't even know how do you have their own truth? There is truth. And when you veer off of that, and you can find yourself deep in the weeds, and people justifying themselves for, it's like the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's terrible. You know what? That is straight out of hell. That's what it is. It's straight out of hell.
We talked about it on the show last week a little bit, that the most basic form of American expression is freedom of speech, right? Sitting down, talking to people. And that's what we've tried to do on this show, is have people of varying degree, very many disagreeing, or a lot of arguments pass around this table.
Yeah,
I think
all in a nonviolent way.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
You've facilitated some of the most important conversations in our county for the last 8-9 years.
And
absolutely,
by sitting down and talking to somebody and saying, "Hey, I'm on this totally different side of this issue. Let's talk it out."
Right.
And what Charlie Kirk was literally doing in the moment he was killed was talking to folks that had an opposing view.
Right.
And because you had a murderer gun him down in that, it cuts that process short.
Yeah.
And that's the exact opposite of what we should want. You never want, the entire principle of this show has been non-aggression, non-violence, and actually sitting down and talking to folks. That is the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be seeing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so shocking and painful as a country, regardless of the politics. If it was a total lefty getting shot by whomever, it's the same conversation.
It's just as bad.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care who it is. You do not resort to violence. Eminem, the rapper or singer who is not on my playlist, but I don't know if you've heard the song that he put out over it, "Stop the Violence." Look it up. He is
about this.
Yes. Look up Eminem, and I think it's called "Stop the Violence." But you know what's interesting to me? I appreciate, believe it or not, I appreciate people who bring different viewpoints. I am absolutely willing to hear that. Here's what I want, though. I want you to not just say, "Well, I don't like that. I like this," and that's it. Be able to explain why you came up with the determination that this is the right way. Be able, and what you'll find, and help us watch it. The internet's full of it. You ask people a legitimate question of, okay, so why are you against this person? What have they, and they're just blank. They don't even know. They've just been caught up in the
tribal.
Yeah,
it's absolutely tribal.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's sad.
It is really sad. You're exactly right. I personally am pretty furious about the Charlie Kirk situation because
absolutely.
I've seen way too many friends and colleagues on the internet run their mouths. And I'll be honest, I would not have characterized myself as a Charlie Kirk fan. I thought previously he was a little bit annoying, but I respected the hell out of him as a communications professor because he would have those conversations.
Right.
That's brave.
Right.
And the way he treated people as well. And then I've been watching all these videos of him, and I'm actually 1,000 times more impressed at his demeanor and the way he interacted with people, especially those treating him terribly.
Right.
But just I half the country being shocked that the other half of the country is upset. I don't know. I'm struggling with that.
It's obviously it's been rough, and to rejoice over anybody's, let's just say, injury, let alone a death, to rejoice over somebody getting hurt.
It's profoundly sad.
It's unbelievable.
That's not who we should be in any way.
Right.
Well,
at all.
I maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I know the people in this room are generally conservative and Republican, not all, but most. I felt like that was an attack on me.
Yeah.
Like that's an attack on my worldview.
Right.
I would never choose to do anyone harm, but I think, I mean, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but it just felt like, wow, my point of view, some people think it's okay to gun me down for that. And I'm not trying to make it about me. This is so much bigger than that, but
I agree.
The glee for the pain, the glee that people are showing. There was a woman who was fired at Ball State today for making some really, I think, gross comments. And I'm not going to say how I feel. It doesn't matter. But
good for Ball State.
I don't know. And I hope nothing comes from this. I hope, they say political violence begets political violence. I pray to God it doesn't. But if it does, and the victims on the left, I hope that everybody who's pissed off right now is just as pissed off for that.
I'm the token.
It won't happen.
I'm like the token lefty in here. I have not seen celebration in my Facebook feed. It might be because of where I live and surrounded for the most part by a county that's more and more conservative. I have seen people jump to, and I mean immediately, bodies warm, blaming the left and screaming. And one person even posting that apparently Democrats are endorsing assassination. And I felt like that was an attack on me. I don't endorse. And I admitted last week, I had zero idea who Charlie Kirk was before he was shot. I had no idea whatsoever. Not my circles. I don't generally. I have a life. I coach. I do other stuff. I'm really busy. So should he been killed? Absolutely not. Nobody should be celebrating it. Nobody should be. I've heard there are problematic things. There are some quotes that people very coldly, and people I know used it to not justify it, but dismiss it, I guess. I don't think anybody was trying to justify it. And I think the biggest problem is that both sides, and this is a lot of things, whoever the shooter was an extremist in whatever he thinks. And it seems like the internet fueled the extremism.
Absolutely.
And so then people jump on the internet and then scream about it when I think almost everybody would agree that 99.999% of Americans don't endorse anybody being killed, don't believe extremist thoughts. Most of us are a lot closer politically than we want to admit. There's conservative and Democrat, but you get them in the room and you get Aaron Dickin in here.
If you have a coffee table conversation, you realize that if you put the damn computers away and you just talk to each other, but there's common ground.
Absolutely.
But we can all take extremists from either side and try to paint the entire group as a portrait with that, and it's not fair. So just like some people don't like some of the stuff that was kind of fringy that Charlie Kirk might have said, I definitely don't agree with anybody shooting him and killing him in front of a group of people or not in front of a group of people. So I think that's the weird thing is this extremism. And I'll be honest, I was in the weeds today. I was listening to a podcast about Russian disinformation, and they said that their goal was not to get any one person elected or not elected. Their goal is to promote the fractioning of the country and people not being able to have friendly discourse. And
they're raising money on every issue.
Yeah. Yes.
In politics, it is a create division, create a wedge, raise money with that issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And build organizations and get people mad at each other. Folks are motivated when they're angry.
Yeah.
When they're
so
mad.
that's I wish people wouldn't fall into that and just feel it and just sit back. I mean, I sat back because every 12 hours a lot more information came out about what was going on, and we may never actually,
You're so right. It just keeps trickling out.
It just keeps trickling out, and you're like, well, no, yes, you're right. No, you're right. And it's kind of like the Spider-Man thing where there's like 5 Spider-Mans and they're all pointing at each other. And it's like, we're all the same people. Mm-hmm. And if we just sat down and just agreed, this is wrong. And if we just, everybody calmed down and just treated people like they're your neighbors, because they are, then we could just kind of move in a better direction.
Things that I see just through my job, and let me step back and say this. I said good for Ball State. I don't even know what they said, so let me retract that statement. And I don't know what their comment was.
I think they cited the lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the scary thing Jeremiah might reference is that Todd Rokita said, if you see anything from any educators, please report it so we can put them on a dashboard. And that's scary.
We have congressmen that are essentially wanting to pull drivers. There's a congressman from Louisiana who said, hey, I want to pull driver's licenses and get people banned from social media for saying anything on the subject, right?
Oh, Lord, that's
terrible. We are so far overstepping the bounds of the way we should use government. It's just, it's reactionary. And I know it comes from a position of pain, right? There are people that are in pain, so you lash out and you say things that you're not in a clean headspace. But we have such a hypocrisy that happens that is painful to look at as a country, because I'm stuck here in the middle, right? I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a libertarian, which is, me and 6 friends that, vote for who we want to, right? It's 2% of the population of Indiana. It's not this political mega force. But I come at it from a uniquely non-tribal side of this, looking at both. And gun control is not the answer, right? We had an assault weapons ban in the 90s. That wouldn't have stopped this. This was a single bolt action rifle. That was never illegal, and nobody's called for it today.
It's interesting to me that, we need to make a law. There has been a law against murder,
straight up,
for a long time.
I have a lot of friends who live in cities who some of them I think have forgotten their roots and immediately jump to, well, it's guns. Guns are the problem. My response is, this is culture. This is a cultural issue. This is a lack of respect for free speech and also life.
I have had this conversation many times with people want to give me the guns is the problem thing, and we have this discussion, and I said, it's interesting to me that you have gone on and on about guns being the problem, and I'm standing here with one on my side the whole time we've been arguing, and you haven't been concerned about this, because it's not the gun, it's the person.
Why are we this is a county that I would say, maybe I'm wrong, but I think we're probably pretty we're armed, it's a lot of guns in this county.
Absolutely.
Why are we not shooting each other all the time?
Right.
What's the difference?
Because we know that most people are armed.
Knock on some wood, Betsy. Just knock on some wood.
No, but I think it is cultural.
Zach is terrified that clip is not going to age well.
I think hang in there. Scanner's page about somebody laying on the ground with their eye missing last week. I'm like, so I like Newcastle, but I hope that stays true. I mean, I don't have any problem with what Betsy said, but I'm just like, man,
I hear you.
Let me go back to talking about just, we've got to get back to a culture of care. I've been on a lot of accident scenes. It is amazing. All of the different people who are right there helping the injured victim. I have seen elderly people helping elderly women, helping, you name it, across the board. When tragedy strikes like that, that's when they go to help. And it's great to see all of these people. When you finally get done, you get people, the help they need, get them in the ambulance, whatever. And it's so interesting. Hey, thanks for stopping. I'm a mail truck driver and I'm this and that. But we were just helpers when it was going on. We're not worried about, hey, hold up a second. What's your political affiliation? We just have to get back to a culture of care.
So I know we've driven way past this part of the conversation, but I do want one more thing I wanted to get into, talking about the jail and the population is way down now.
Right.
We've seen some media reports where ICE has got a whole lot of people on their hands because of some things that are happening nationally. Clay County, Indiana, out west, very similar community to Henry County. Clay County is Brazil, and it's about similar distance, kind of west of Indianapolis versus us being east. Their sheriff has been getting $85 a day housing inmates for ICE. And I know that there's also been counties that I know at times Henry County has had to put people in other communities because we didn't have the room.
Right.
And back in the day, we used to house folks. Is there ever a conversation around, hey, we've got extra head count, we've got space available, let's take advantage of that? Or is it we're taking the folks that we're entrusted with and that's all?
I'm always open to reviewing new processes, maybe like that, looking at the financial side. But I can tell you where my stand is now. I do not keep DOC people and house them here for the $30-some a day. We ship them out typically to Delaware County. I don't want the liability.
DOC is state Department of Corrections.
Yes. I don't want the liability. It is not worth it. It is not worth. It is nice when your population dips down and your corrections officers are not over their head. Yes. Yeah. I want to keep people here that we need to keep here. DOC people are getting shipped out, and DOC wasn't even sending us checks anyways. I think they got that.
Governor Braun.
Got that corrected. But yes, I'm not. I don't see that. I don't see that ever with me being the sheriff. I don't want to be housing the financial. If you look at the numbers, and we have looked at the numbers very closely, it does not make sense for us to do that. That happens to be my opinion, but my opinion happens to be the one that counts here regarding the jail.
So you did say while you're sheriff, about the 3-quarter mark in this first adventure, right?
Yes.
Coming up on essentially
correct.
3 years.
It's coming up on 3 years.
So in January is kind of the window to decide if you're going to try to do this again.
Yes.
Have you given thought to a second term? Are you anticipating another run?
I am. Yes. And, I'll say what I said, the first go round. I obviously, with my upbringing, I depend on the providence of the Lord. That may sound funny to somebody. And, if I am not elected as the next sheriff, then I will take that as that's what the Lord wants. And I'll be happy with it. When I'm building churches and I meet church boards and, I tell them, look, when I've done everything I can to try to get the job, if you call me and tell me that I'm not going to be building your project, that can't put me out of the Lord's will. Now, you're probably out of the Lord's will if you do that and don't hire me.
You didn't pick me.
But that's your problem at that point. So, no, I absolutely intend to run again, and I love serving our people, our community. I love it. I just love it, and so I would love to have the opportunity again. But that'll be up to the voters, and I trust our voters and I trust our system.
How does that process work inside of the department? So when you've got a sheriff that's running for re-election, and the other folks that want to run, I assume that it's an open process. Anybody can apply, and it's life is life, and
absolutely.
There's no retribution if anybody decides they're running.
One thing that me and the chief deputy talk about quite a bit, and with our upper brass, it is our job as leaders to try to help everybody we can to keep moving up the ladder. If you are worried about somebody taking your spot, then you better up your own game. And so I am not concerned a bit if somebody else from the department wants to run. Hey, I'm going to be their friend. I'm not going to not talk to them if they win, especially my second term and I'm leaving. I'm not going to not talk to them and then want to get a photo op with the next guy come in to show it's been a smooth transition. I went through that, and hey, can you meet the sheriff so get a picture and show it's been a smooth transition? No. Just tell me where you left the keys. That was the conversation. Tell me where you left the keys. And I don't mean to be ugly. I love all these people, but no, I'm not.
the Lord will decide. I'll do everything I can to try to win. I don't like to lose. I have lost in things before. I don't like it. But if I do everything that I can and I don't get it, that is God's will for me, and I will love everybody and move on down the road.
I know, as I've been a part of the hiring process as a member of Merit Board, the thoughts cross my mind every time somebody comes on that, hey, we may be hiring a future sheriff. It may not be 4 years from now, 8 years from now. But you're hoping that you're picking a talent pool that these folks are going to go through the ranks and they're going to be the next generation of leadership.
Yes.
And I would think that you hope you've hired a whole lot of future sheriffs in the county.
Absolutely. And I love that. And, there are obviously some people that stand out as, if this guy will hang in here, there's just, I don't know, certain things that there's some people that they've got what it takes. We've got some.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few people that they have what it takes and they would be good at it. And I'm not going to mention their names because they'll get a big head. But there's some good ones there.
There's talent coming.
We have a wonderful staff. I love our staff all the way through. We have about 100 employees total. That's with all of the different, the different segments of Henry County Sheriff's Office. But we're blessed with some great people, some great leaders who I trust.
So the final side of the conversation I wanted to talk through, now that we dealt with the jail end, and I forgot we'd missed some things. Eventually, folks leave. Yeah. And they get to transition back into civilian life, as Betsy puts it. Sometimes you leave the county council and you become a civilian. Sometimes you just leave.
I have to say, it's nice.
Lane and you become a civilian.
It's nice to be a civilian again.
There are some organizations in the community that help people get through, right? Tell us about maybe some organizations that are out there that get involved and how, we meet this need of, hey, we've transitioned out of government side to private groups that help people.
Right. There are some wonderful organizations here that help us, that are a great help to us. Drug court I go to every Friday. I love drug court. Maybe one of the most favorite things that I do as a sheriff. It's an opportunity every Friday. Drug court is a helping court, and it's a 2-year program. It's very very well ran. It's a tough 2 years. And let me explain real quick. This is important to viewers. They may not know what drug court is. Drug court is where somebody's been arrested for possession of drugs. And,
potentially a plant that's legal 45 miles east of here.
No, it's
harder
it's
stuff?
already moved on from the gateway there.
Okay.
But
just wanted to ask.
Yes, but here's basically what it is. If you, and there are certain criteria that have to be met for you to qualify for drug court. If you qualify, and the judicial system says yes, they qualify, you actually, and they make you very well aware of this, you sign away your right to a trial. You're basically putting your hands, you're putting your fate in the hands of the judge and the judicial system. You're signing away your right to have a trial for whatever. So if you're facing, you got 4 years, possibly 4 years hanging over your head. For example, if you get into drug court and you complete drug court about 2 years, drug court is rigid. It is very well policed. I don't like that word. That's not, it's
administered.
It's very well administered. Yes. And you have the entire system of, from the judge, the prosecutor, the psychiatrist is there, the many other different branches of a support system to help you. If you get through that, they literally wipe away that charge forever, gone.
So they're not in the jail through this process.
That is correct.
They're at home. They're living their life,
yes.
And then they come in when they're scheduled to be in the court.
Yes.
And it's basically a check-in.
In many cases, they're getting drug tested 5 and 6 times a week.
Wow.
They have to meet. There is so much required. I tell these people regularly, because I love these people. They're dealing with difficult circumstances in life. They're just dealing with life. Life is tough in the best of circumstances. They're dealing with life and the hardships of life while trying to meet all of these deadlines and regulations of drug court. And I tell them, be proud of yourself. I have business acquaintance friends of mine who don't meet half of those deadlines that you're meeting while coming out of an addiction. And there is grace built in the program, but I want to tell you something. There's no gray area. Those rules are black and white. And when you fail in a certain area, you know what's coming. You don't get a free pass. And, the more sanctions that you have, you'll wind up a weekend in jail, and you keep it up and you'll just wind up going back to jail. And so I love that program. Now, back to your point about local organizations. One organization that I love, I am also a member of their board. It's the Guest House, Homeless Shelter for Men. They are a huge asset to the drug court program because they house a lot of the drug court participants. And the Guest House, wonderful Christ-centered homeless shelter. They have addiction recovery programs, and then here I noticed you mentioned something about the Hagar House for Hagar's Hope for women. They also are helping in facilitating people getting back out on their feet, getting back into the working society. I tell the drug court members, participants, I call them, society needs you. Society needs you. I remember one lady said, I'm just trying to integrate back into society. And I said, that's awesome because we need you.
So do you have specific success stories? And in the 3 years you've been here, people that you've seen come through the process and you go, yeah, I'm really proud of this person. Things that you say, this worked well.
I could go on and on, but with the Guest House specifically, I remember a guy in jail when I was just talking to inmates came up to me. This has been right after I became the sheriff. And he said, hey, Sheriff, when I get out of jail, I'm going to become the church. And I hear that all the time. You know what I mean? Well, sure enough, he got out of jail and was immediately homeless. And the Guest House took him in. And I have just watched that guy mature spiritually, get a good job. Listen, Boar's Head and TS Tech, they deserve some love from us. They hire many of our drug court participants.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And hey, I've watched them move up, even in management. The thing I love about drug court, when the people first come in, man, you can see that fear. It's fear.
It's the unknown. They don't know how it's going to shake out.
They do not trust the judicial system. They do not trust the police. You can see that distrust. People come in, their heads down the whole time. I have watched just numerous, I could go on and on, people that have just came in off the street. I dealt with them off the street. I've arrested them. I had one girl come up to me right when I started doing drug court after I became the sheriff and said, thank you so much. You're the one that arrested me. That's why I'm here. I couldn't even remember. But I've just watched, and I've watched people come in. They build confidence. Just to watch them come in now, and they can look you in the eye and talk to you. And it's beautiful. It's about caring for other people.
That's got to be where you feel pride in this, that you went from somebody's at their lowest low,
yes,
and now they're back to where they've graduated from that program.
Yes.
They're working somewhere. They've rented a place. They've got their life together again.
They're paying taxes.
And yes. I had a person come up to me one time talking about how many people he had arrested, not on our department, and just kind of caught me wrong. And I said, well, that doesn't impress me. How many of those people are you checking up on? How many of those people are you, when you see them, stop and say, hey, buddy, how you doing, man? And I've had people go, hey, man, give me a big hug. They're out on the street. You remember me?
Yeah.
Not really, but.
And that's the empathy thing that I think is a really unique thing about this administration.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed being a part of it, is that, where I come from in politics is that you recognize that nobody really wants to have government involved, and we want as minimal portion of it as we can. But when it is there, you want to realize that there's an empathy and a service to people that you're meeting them when they're interacting with the sheriff's department. It's usually not a good day of their life, right? It's a low. They're getting arrested. They're getting a speeding ticket. They've got a flat tire. Something's probably not gone real well.
Right.
And it's an opportunity for you guys to have an impact and help folks.
Yes.
It's a service. It's a servant's position.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I want to say this, our chief deputy, Josh Smith, and just on down the line, we have some wonderful, caring people. They actually care about you. They
just had a donuts. You were out of the country. I think,
I was
vacationing somewhere.
Yes, Matt Guppy and some others.
Donut with the deputies down at Jack's Donuts, which is somewhat stereotypical.
Yes,
but I get it.
I would have been there, and I would have eaten a couple of donuts with them. Just trying to bring the just the personal. Listen, we're people too. We've got families too. We have struggles too. Police officers have struggles. This job is hard on families. And just trying to connect with people just on a family and friend level. We get tagged as being bad people. And we have feelings too. People want to just run their mouth constantly about the sheriff this, whatever. I thank God I've let that stuff go.
People
but
call you a pig, man. I don't know.
Exactly.
You chose this life.
I did. But
I just wish those same people could see all the things you do in your day and all of your employees, what they do in a day to serve other people.
It would be, we have officers that's been in help us. We've all been in horrible situations. Some of our guys been in the ultimate bad situation. We don't like that. We don't, but it's part of the job. One thing that is in every officer's way in the back of his mind, you don't think about this much. I mean, we're all type A personalities, and for whatever reason, when you hear a fight involving guns, you're we're headed straight there. But that is also a heavy side that, again, we don't think of it. We don't, I'm worried about this. So we don't, but if all hell breaks loose, for lack of a better term, and somebody's opening fire with a full auto AR, guess what? We're going. And what would I say? Honored to do so. I don't want to say excited to do so, but we're called to protect. And while other people run away, we're going to run in.
And I think it's been noticed, and I've certainly seen it, that if there's been a tough situation, you may get criticism for it, you may not, right? There's different ways to say it. But you've been the tip of the spear. If there's been a controversy or a difficult call, you haven't just said, hey, go do it. You've often been the one that has been that has been dealing with the issue.
Exactly. I like to be engaged. I'm not a micromanager. I am not a micromanager, but I do like to be engaged, and you have to use wisdom with that. And the older I get a little bit more wisdom, and I'm thankful for that. But I do like to be. I like to be at the tip of the spear.
So let's talk about the department looking forward. You made a lot of changes. What are the next challenges? The next things you're trying to tackle? What's the next 6 months, year look like? What's the agenda?
So one thing that I did want to cover, and I thought I had saw it on the notes. You sent me the notes early in good time, and I looked at them when I got here. But I was talking about equipment real quick. I want to talk about the fact that we now have 2 drones. That
way, pilot Zach will help you out.
Yes, correct.
I need to get some better training early.
We are getting a $70,000 robot for SWAT situations, etc., donated to us from Anderson PD. Got a good friend that's over there. We've been wanting a robot forever. They are lifesavers to send into a difficult situation without sending a person in. And so there are just many upgrades that we have been able to get. A lot of it through the council stepping up and saying, let's do it. But they are life-saving. They're not toys. Our drones are not toys.
They're tools.
They're tools.
The off-road vehicles are not toys. Right after we got our side by side, we get a call where a hunter had fell out of a tree stand. He had broken vertebrae, and that dude was probably a mile deep in the woods through mud, through the field, and there was no way that a vehicle's getting back there. And guess what?
You were doing a horse rescue if you were doing it otherwise.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And we were able to get back there, get them loaded onto the side by side. So they are tools. They are wonderful tools. They're not toys. I hear like the shiny cars. Yeah, I do like shiny cars. You notice our cars are clean. It's not because they're toys to us. We take good care of them. They are lifesavers. And so that's why I want good stuff, because we're dealing with human life, protecting life and property.
You got good wheel bearings, good tires on the cars now, right?
We do.
Yeah,
we do.
And they don't have 300,000 miles on them.
We don't have metal hanging out of the tires, and that is a good thing. Yeah.
What else have we missed? We're probably transitioning into final thoughts here a little bit. What else do we need to cover?
I don't know, man. I was ready for a marathon session, so just.
Zach, what do you got, man? We're over an hour. We've more than clicked it.
Yeah.
We're an hour and 20, so we're we're good at any time.
Listen, we've got to save the people. We've got to save the people. They are passed out. There's no viewers on right now at all.
No, the number keeps going up.
Yeah,
we're well up in the double digits.
If we started dealing and speaking to comments, the number would continue to go up.
What's been your biggest surprise that you didn't see coming into being sheriff? Because you're obviously in the department, but is there anything that surprised you when you got in there? You're like, I didn't think this would be a thing.
Yeah, the biggest surprise is the absolute petty, shocking, backbiting, infighting from the political arena. And I'm sorry, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm telling you what, the most petty, embarrassing, playground level conversations, and it's disappointing. It's embarrassing. We're not on a playground in the sandbox.
Working with other county officials.
Yes.
This is what you've experienced.
Shocked. I was shocked. And I had people tell me, man, you're going to be shocked. Like, whatever, man, they're good people. I know. Then just let something.
It's not all hot dogs on the courthouse lawn with the Secretary of State. I'll tell you that.
Well, I've gotten a taste of that as well. And I think the vast majority of people in the party locally and also working in government are fabulous.
Yeah.
But there's a few where you're like, grow up.
Yes,
be an adult.
Right. So
be professional.
You ask. I said I'll roll with the punches on the. That's been the biggest shocker and the biggest the biggest disappointment. It's just a disappointment.
Have any of those relationships gotten better over time, or they're just folks that, hey, I can work with this person, I'm not going to work well with this person, and you've made it through? Like, as I know you had some really big headwinds as you were trying to make changes the first couple cycles. But has that improved, or it's really still the same, or just who's in what seat has changed, so life's gotten easier?
Is still plenty of Sproles derangement syndrome out there, and it's what it is, man. I don't know. I hope it's getting better. I'm trying to be nice. I know that I can be very direct. I try not to be mean. I do like to stick with, let's just talk about facts instead of feelings. That's what I would rather do. Let's talk. Well, I feel, what's the fact? How about, hey, I fact something.
I think a lot of it is too. I mean, just watching you come into office and being on the council when you came into office, a lot of it was, I think, understanding each other's roles and what we can do, what we can't. Well, you understanding better, like, hey, if we had it, we'd do it. But let's set up plans to get there.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because here's the thing: coming in as a brand new sheriff, no communication from the previous administration to, hey, let me tell you about this, and this, and this. I think I got a phone call for a few minutes one day. That's it. And literally just tell me where the keys are. We'll figure it out. how in the world am I supposed to know the 50 billion different things of this is the way this has to be done and this has to be done? And I'll tell you what's most disappointing. Most disappointing. The other people knowing, hey, he shouldn't do that. And instead of a phone call and said, hey, listen, just so you know, that's not the way that I would be. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Wait and wait and wait, and then find out. I knew they should have done that differently. Get over it. How about you don't learn everything in one day? I'm not embarrassed to say I didn't know hardly anything about being the sheriff except let's take care of our people. Let's serve and protect. Let's take good care of our officers. That always made sense to me. Caught a lot of flack from, I said, we have to take good care of our officers first in order for them to take good care of the community. The ultimate goal is take good care of the community. But the traps and lay in wait and the I got you moments, guys, I could send you a stack of emails that come right out of the courthouse that would blow your mind about how nasty. Betsy, you know you've seen this.
I
stuff.
have. So I know what you're saying is correct because I've dealt with people who I could not believe that they had a reputation out on the street of like being a
lot of our citizens have no idea. They actually would not believe it.
Right.
We are not in Washington, D.C., but we have the same. I don't know what we're after.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to wiggle in to get another. I'm trying to move up here and I'm going to step on people. Listen,
I would say thankfully the vast majority are not of that mindset, but I could definitely attest to that. And I don't know. All I know is my mom always gave advice, anything you do could be on the front page of the paper. So you better do
the vast
do it
majority
right.
or not. But it is just like nationally.
I mean,
that little majority is the loud ones.
Front page of the paper today is about a Republican Party.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, it's reasonable. Front page doesn't have to be bad news. So you're still working through your interpersonal skills.
I'm trying to work.
That's fair, though. I mean, your approach. Let's be honest. You came in with an approach, and I think this is the way it looked from my perspective. But as soon as you sort of understand the workings of government and how things are paid for, just all of it, like it's so freaking complex.
Yeah,
I don't fault you at all because it took me years to even get a grip on what I was doing. But like once you got in that zone, it's been a lot more productive. Everybody's on the same page.
I'll tell you what I told Josh, my chief deputy, after the first year. Man, I don't want to. I don't want to this banging heads. That is not. I don't want to do that. Hey, listen. Let's just be clear. For our officers, we had to have some head banging to get some things done. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate. But however, where that started clearing up is when communication started to happen, and people would say, "Hey, we want to come over and have a meeting and discuss these items," and instead of just try to pull a fast and see who can get the biggest, sound bite out of a meeting when I don't know. I'm here just trying to serve the community.
Have you noticed a lot of sheriffs grow up and become county commissioners when they're done?
Let me tell you.
I was going to say, in point out that this is a situation where the political ecosystem you operate in is one party functionally. So this is not even like
these are all people that wear the same clothes and the same parties.
Teams like playing tribe thing. This is just people.
Listen, you can put this down on paper, and maybe this will help other people not chill out. I'm not ever going to be on the county council. Betsy, you're tougher than me. I ain't taking that on. I tell Shannon, dude, what for the amount of effort that dude puts in? What are you doing? You know what? He's doing it for the community because he cares about the community. I will never be a county council, county commissioner. No way. That is not my goal. Has never been. You remember you asked, when did you want to be a sheriff? Well, I dreamed about it. I didn't dream about this. I never thought about it until 2 years before I started running. I don't have no aspirations of wiggling my way into county government. I frankly, I'm sick of county government. I love being the sheriff.
front page. I'm
Well,
sick of county
The
government.
Constitution says you can only do this job for 8 years, and you have to take a 4-year break, and then you can do it again.
Yes.
And there's a former sheriff who tried to just run every time he could. So we've seen it happen.
Yes. I'm telling you that I love it, but the 2 terms would be enough. And I want to leave, and I want people to say, you know what, we were better off because that dude was here. That's the main goal. And the citizens say, you know what, we're better off.
Boy, I didn't trust him when he came in, but you know what? It turned out okay.
I had a lady tell me that the other day.
Yeah.
And I gave her a big hug. It's down at the guest house thing.
Okay.
This lady come up to me and she said, I probably shouldn't say this, but she said, I was so adamantly against you becoming the sheriff. And she said, but you know what? I think you're doing a good job. And she gave me a hug, and I needed the hug. Jeremiah, I might need a hug from you tonight by the time this is
when
over.
the camera's off. All right. I don't need you to have a scandal on your hands.
Don't worry, guys. I'll get a sneak
enough
picture.
Yes.
Any other softies you want to throw out there, Zach?
No.
Zach's like this. No.
It's been a week, so no. Thanks for coming. All this stuff's interesting. Like it's hard to keep up with everything. I can barely keep up with the city stuff, which is normally what I kind of keep an eye on. I've already heard that the park board's been a mess, like a meeting or two. So, like, if things are smoothing out for the sheriff's department, then that's good. And I like that the jailing. My brother was a long time ago before you were the sheriff, but he was a correctional officer in there, and it's like. And I think he was aware of this. That's one thing that those guys should probably be aware of. We're a small enough town. You should treat this person like you're not going to be scared when you run into them in public, because you will run into them in public. Yes. Because we are a small community. You're going to run into them at the dairy case at Kroger or at Walmart because it's a small town. And just if you treat, like I said, my kids, I'm real harping on the golden rule. Treat people like you'd want to be treated. Yeah. If you treat people like humans, then they'll treat you like a human.
Yep.
And in the case of being incarcerated, that means that they won't be a problematic inmate because this guy's treating me well, so I don't want to make his life hard.
Yes.
So
it may save your life one day.
We need more of that just in general. Like,
yes.
Before people post something on Facebook, like, am I insulting people in my friends list that don't deserve to be insulted? Okay, maybe I shouldn't post that because it doesn't make any sense. So,
we have tried on our Facebook page, our sheriff's office Facebook page, I get sick and tired of seeing mugshots on every sheriff's office page. The paper will put that out. There are some things that we need to talk about. There might be a mugshot we need to put out because we are looking for this person.
You're looking for something.
It's a safety issue.
But how about let's just not do what everybody else does because that's the way they've always done it? How about let's try to be uplifting? Try to post some.
Don't post everybody's rock bottoms on social media.
Exactly.
Do you try to make sure that you're not getting made fun of for putting a comically small amount of product on a table in a picture?
Like when somebody has a drug bust, and it's like 3 pills,
bust and it's like, oh yeah, here's $63, and the
internet loves to make fun of those pictures.
Because I pray that you don't go viral for the wrong reasons one day for something like that.
I don't want to go viral for the wrong reasons. I was worried I may go viral. I was going to apologize tonight to your viewing audience for my haircut. I don't know what happened.
Are you unhappy with it?
Listen, I love my barber. We was talking about Charlie Kirk and talking about some of these things we've talked about tonight. I don't know what happened. He doesn't know what happened. And I tried to interview witnesses. They don't know what happened. My hair is gone. And
he can't do anything about the color or the lack of hair, right?
I have.
Sometimes you have
I need all the help that I can get. And so it's just, but I love my barber. We don't know what happened. I've never.
Long conversation. He just kept cutting.
Just kept trying to earn that $20.
So I did want to. I didn't want to go viral for that reason.
Are comments turned on or off now on the Facebook page? Anybody can comment.
Oh, I don't. I don't. Let's. Our people are probably asleep, but
I'm saying on the official sheriff's department one.
Oh, yeah, yes. No, they are. They're on. They are on.
Because I know governments, there's this thing that's happened where it's either
correct.
You got to have it turned on for everybody or turned off for everybody. So now they're on.
Yes, they are on. You cannot set, to my knowledge, you cannot set it to where just every post, all comments are off. You have to do that individually. You can turn all comments off when you post something. Don't give people time to comment, and then as soon as you post it. However, you do have to post it and then go and turn the comments off. You can do that quickly. So no, comments are on.
Okay. If you want to post like the confiscation, like the drug things, you want people to not make fun of it though. Put a canine in it. Everybody loves the canine.
Everybody loves the canines
because he's a good boy. That's why everyone's like, there's a good boy, because they were doing their job.
Yeah. You are. Here's the deal that I've kind of figured out. These people that want to get on and post stupid stuff on the comments. Did you know the average human being, the average reasonable person, you're making yourself look stupid. So just have at it. Go off on me. Just have at it. I long 2 years and something ago, thank God one day I just woke up and realized I don't care. I care about people, but if there are certain people, the couple percent that you can't, they're nuts and they look nuts by their comments.
Yeah. And once again, if you're not behind the keyboard and you're sitting across from a table from each other, life's a lot easier, right? You have those conversations.
I have ran into some of my biggest haters behind the keyboard, and I ran right into them in line at the Lee's Chicken was the last one. Right in line, walked up, and I thought, this is great. Turns around, Mr. Sproles, how you doing? Doing well, man. Big change of not so tough anymore while me and my boys are here to eat.
I'd like to think I got to the point where it didn't matter so much anymore, but it does at the beginning when you're in public office or you're in that
beginning.
People just say, I've had a lot of wild things said to me, and it's always like, who hurt you? Like, what unprocessed trauma led you to share these twisted thoughts?
There's some unprocessed trauma in most of those people. There is. And yes, that was one of the big shockers. Is what in the world? I don't even know some of these people. But I did reach a point to where I've had people call me, hey, did you hear about what so-and-so said about you? No, and I don't care. And I'm not going to spend 2 seconds looking to see what so-and-so said about me. There are bottom feeders out there, and that's what they're going to do. And they can just keep being bottom feeders. That sounds wrong. That's like an old military term, I believe. And God help us.
I mean, it's a fishing term to me.
It's
a bottom feeder is somebody that's eating. It's a catfish.
I thought it may have been an old military. You're probably right. Fishing term.
Yeah.
But you know what?
You're at the bottom of you're eating something that's dead. You're eating something that's left over, something that's not. You're not eating prime.
You're not a top achiever.
Keep on being a bottom feeder, and you're not going to garner my attention.
That and also people who aren't brave enough to do what you've done, like run for office or wear a badge, be shot at in your line of work. Like, goodness, like people who aren't brave enough to do that, their opinions matter a little bit less, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to go with you on that, Betsy.
One more thing I have, this isn't in the notes, so I'm springing this on you, but we had this conversation about communities that were kind of badge factories. And you had been leading this conversation of, hey, we don't like what's happening here. Yes. Is there an update? Because we haven't heard much on the much of that in the last few months. Or
years. Unfortunately, there was some. I can't imagine the comments. People hear this. Unfortunately, there was some legislation that did not get enacted. I think there was a lot of stuff that should have been peeled down a little bit, but. I love these people as individuals, but the badge factory places, one of the guys that I had so much trouble with, just being a pain. And guess what? He got fired. And just give him time. Quit hassling our people.
Well, you didn't stop for 4 seconds or something. Get off of it, man. I'm sorry. You don't get me going down that one. I want to tell you one. I'm going to tell you one just while we're at it.
He doesn't have to be anywhere until 6 a.m. tomorrow, folks.
This happened, okay? I was in the jail in my office late one evening. I heard a local town marshal department officer bringing somebody to jail. I already knew, because I knew what the situation was. Dude, you need to just go get medical clearance because you're going to get sent out to do it. So showed up at the jail. Then the next thing I know, I'm en route to the ER for med clearance. This guy, nice enough guy, nice. I have had good conversations with this guy. Nice guy, has been around here for a long time. Don't live anywhere near here, oddly enough. Don't live anywhere near here, but he has worked around here on several different town marshal places. So I'm walking out of my office. He's leaving to go to the hospital. Passes my car, turns left on the road. And I'm like, dude, the hospital's the wrong way. So the opposite way, I pull out behind him. All of a sudden he turns all his lights on and pulls over. I'm thinking, oh, he's got an issue. So I get on my radio and say, so-and-so number, are you 5'2", which that means, are you okay? Now, I'm telling you, you can sum up a lot of the issues with just this response right here. And the response was on the air. Don't say this on the air. Well, actually, I'm just pulling over here to type in the hospital on my GPS to see where it's at. I know that word will get back to him. I love the guy, super nice guy.
Yeah.
But I am sorry.
You need to know.
You have been in the community for years as a law enforcement officer, and you don't know where the Henry County Hospital is. And let me give you one more. One of our top brass guy gets pulled over the other day. I appreciate this buddy. He's in his personal car. I appreciate this buddy. He didn't flash a badge, nothing. And when the town marshal officer came back up, okay, we're talking about somebody who's been around this county in a long time in the uniform wearing brass, okay? Guy come back up. He noticed something in his car that had the appearance that he might be an officer. You an officer, sir? Yes, sir. Where you work at? One of the top brass at the Henry County Sheriff's Office. Been around here a long time. You don't even know who we are. They don't live around. They don't even know who we are. I can't.
So they are working here. They're just not invested in the community, right?
They're not invested. Work a shift, and then
they're not invested.
They do enough
yes,
to tick the box.
They do enough to keep their police powers so they can go work security downtown.
I was at a Colts game, and I walked the section I was in had a Greensboro officer. I've never seen a person before in my life.
Still the largest department in the county?
Yeah, I think
they were at one point, weren't they? Yeah,
I think they're still in the high 20s. I mean, if you would take that number, we've done these numbers before. It's phenomenal. If you would go per capita, we would have
you got 4 to 1.
Yeah. I thought they had they'd one officer for every 4.5 people. Greensboro did.
You're right. So if you would take that number and put it, we'd have 15,000 deputies in this.
Well, you took away all the sheriffs, the special deputy badges.
Well, yeah. don't go there. But let me say,
we used to have 10,000.
I have to go. I have to go back and say this. There are some good town marshal people in our county who are invested in their community, who take care of the cause that they need to take care of. There are some great people. Don't misunderstand me. I will never be okay with badge factories so you can post a picture sitting in front of Lucas Oil Stadium working some ODE. Often, well, it's a good thing because you ain't getting paid for your on duty. So yeah, I hope you're getting some off-duty pay. And I'm sorry. I'm not ever going to be okay with that. There's so many reasons why I just don't like the badge factory.
I mean, it's a huge liability.
It's a huge liability.
Yeah, that's very scary.
I'm just, Betsy.
You're giving police powers to folks that haven't been through the academy, right?
Had a trooper come up to me the other day and said, dude, you ain't going to believe this. Okay, guys, get ready, audience, get ready, because this is real life, all right? So I rolled up to a traffic stop the other day in our community, one of the town marshal agencies, and he said,
Did they ask for it or you just showed up?
no, he just showed up. And so he walks up there, and there's two officers in the town marshal car, one officer training a new officer, okay? Troop walks up and says, hey, what do you got? Man, I don't know. I think this guy may be drunk. Guys, I'm giving you real life, okay? Real life. I think this guy may be drunk. Okay, have you done field sobriety yet? Get ready.
They don't have a field sobriety guy.
Man, I hate to say this. I don't know anything about how to do field sobriety.
That's not somebody who should be wearing a badge.
So well, come on, man. I can't. I was at the Fever game earlier this year. I saw 4 or 5 people wearing uniforms from our community here. No idea who those guys.
Really?
I'd never seen them in my life.
Do you ever go
I've
introduce
never
yourself
noticed.
to them and just ask them where they're from?
No, I don't want to.
Where you live at? What's
Yeah,
your
no,
deal?
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Because I feel like having that conversation sometimes when I see it.
Yeah.
But I say I just want to go drink a beer and watch the game.
Yeah. I don't drink, but sometimes these situations will drive me to want to start drinking. And I love these people. Listen, I from my heart, I love these people as people, but you're not invested in our community. Man, I don't know anything about field sobriety tests. Baby, get out. Don't be training this cat. You don't even know how, you know.
So, all right. Let's compare that to you have a reserve department.
Okay.
Right. So you have an expectation that if you have a reserve that pulls somebody
Yep.
over, those guys,
Yep.
they get training, they work a few days a month.
Yes.
And somebody,
Some of them work many hours a month. Yeah.
so they pull somebody over and they say, hey, I think this guy might be impaired. What
Yeah.
do they do versus a town marshal? Do the reserves, a lot of them have those skills
Yeah,
now to deal with that?
Absolutely. And but here's the other piece of that. We have supervisors that are we're staffed. We don't have one reserve out by himself, and they don't have. I guess they can call us.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But you don't want to send your drug recognition expert out there necessarily to deal with something.
What I
if you got the other things going on.
tell my people, what I tell our people, don't ever let any one of those be set in trouble. Don't ever. You go back them up. They call us, you go back them up. But and we'll do it if we have to, but I'm not a fan of showing up and saying, hey, I think this dude's drunk. I'm the training officer tonight, training this other guy. I don't know anything about what to do from here. You're driving a police car that you just bought yourself, and you don't know you don't know where to go from here. I don't know. That's a problem.
And I think I'm hearing it from the professional law enforcement community in this town. There's a front page story, a story in the paper today about a young officer in Newcastle that showed up having consumed alcohol.
Yes.
Showed up at a training deal.
Yes.
And he got arrested and he lost his job because he was not acting like a professional, right?
Yes.
There's accountability from our law enforcement community that says, hey, we're going to do things the right way.
Right.
Straight up.
Yes. No, we have to, we have to maintain professionalism. We are professionals. Be professional. There are codes of conduct that we just have to, conduct unbecoming an officer. You're in trouble. So I guess, and I hate that about the Newcastle guy. Good kid, but I guess maybe if he was in a different area, they wouldn't have known how to see if he was drunk or not.
Sure. But you're right. An officer, somebody wearing the badge has to be above reproach.
Right. And just
especially if you're driving your car.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, I can go on and on, but I better stop. I love all these people, but don't drive 2.5 hours here from your home to sit down here and harass our people and smart off to them, because you're not going to see them at McDonald's and say, hey, wait, you're the guy that smarted off to me yesterday. They don't have to worry about that. Come in, smart off the people, take out your own issues because you've apparently not ever been able to get a full-time police officer job. Take it out on the people and leave. I'm sorry. I'm going to have so many people upset about this, but I go back to we have some great town marshal people in this community, and you know what? They know who they are.
And they can find the courthouse, the jail, and the
the
hospital.
And the places they serve know them.
That's exactly.
Yeah,
they're a member of the community.
The citizens know who they are too.
The citizens know who they are. Yeah.
There's a couple I know that've been in their roles for years and years. And
absolutely.
They're part of they're like
institutions in the community.
Yeah, they're parts
absolutely.
of their community. Yeah.
Yes, there are.
Is Stacy still the marshal in Sulphur?
You know what? I can't even answer that.
Well, he was for a long time.
I know he was.
Yeah.
I think that he is.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's not a person, I'm sure, in Silver Springs who doesn't know who Stacy Guffey is.
Well, this is what I was worried about with my haircut. Possibly being like that. Hey, that's Stacy Guffey doing the. I hope Stacy's watching.
Me too. I love Stacy. Great guy. But seriously,
yeah,
I mean, somebody who is so integrated in the community.
He's got like 37 years of full-time law enforcement experience, and doing that. Why? To serve his community.
He's got a servant's heart for sure.
Yes,
great guy.
Final thoughts from you, Betsy?
Gosh, I don't know. We've just been all over the place. I would say that it's incumbent upon me as a Fever ticket holder to say that the Fever won their first playoff game last night in 10 years. Great game, great time. They go into game 3 with Atlanta tomorrow night, 7:30. We'll see what happens. I think we can win. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the 2-0 Indianapolis Colts. I love Indiana Jones, Danny Dimes. He's a distant cousin, I'm pretty sure.
I've told a lot of people that I was hoping he would be our Baker Mayfield, and so far so good. Yeah, I mean, things are looking good for Colts football. 2 different records. Last week, the first game, every single drive was a scoring drive. That's never happened before in a game that they've been paying attention.
Big deal. I know that.
That's just a silly stat. And then this week they have a record for no punts in 2 games. So just, and to me that screams. You were at the game a week ago. I was at the game Sunday. I mean, all 3 phases of the game are just absolutely clicking right now. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch a team that's well coached and not making stupid mistakes constantly. And I feel like they're there.
We came in 2-3 weeks ago. We did a show, and there was a survey of fan bases and their optimism for their team going.
We were dead last.
The Colts were at 7% at the very bottom. They were the lowest expectations from the fan base. So to be sitting there at 2-0, leading the division, one of 4 teams in the AFC that are undefeated, that's as good as you can get.
Yeah.
And the team that was number 1 in that expectation was the Denver Broncos, and that's who the Colts just beat last week.
Nice.
So that's why they play the games, right? It's fun. We got something to cheer for. We got playoff fever, and we got Colts that are doing well.
We had the Pacers have a magical season that I'll never forget the way Game 7 went. Tyrese,
good time in sports in Indiana.
Yes.
And the Hoosiers football team has got a good one coming up too. So thank you all for taking the time tonight. I enjoyed it. This was an overdue conversation.
Yes, good.
Glad we get to have it, and there's more meat on the bone to do this again later.
Let's do it.
All right. With that, we will be back a week from today, Wednesday again. September 24th is the next one. We'll see y'all then.